So just a tip for you guys to, if you're ever wondering, is this O-ring good or bad? This here is the O-ring for my Huey pump, which was leaking. When they're hard as a rock and shatter like plastic, then your O-rings are no good. Get some new ones. All right, so we're gonna get started installing this rear main seal. The new seal has this wear sleeve in it. You're gonna wanna check your crank, make sure that there's not currently a wear sleeve on there. A lot of times from the factory, they don't come with a wear sleeve. It says right on it, rotation, and it's got an arrow. Front of the engine spins clockwise, so back here we're counterclockwise. It also says to install it dry. Cat makes a special tool for installing this. Should be super handy right now, but looking at this, it almost looks like Allison makes a similar tool. I think they call it a spacer though.
I've been around the block a couple times. I've been strung out and locked up overnight. One thing I don't do well with are goodbyes. And when I hear the voices that take my belt and laces, it might be time for me to sober up. But I just don't think that'll be enough.
Alright, so our seal is in. That definitely could have gone smoother. Definitely would have been way easier to have the tool, but I think we got it in there about how it's supposed to go. Using the tool, you'd get it at the perfect depth. It would be even all the way around. I think it'd be all right. We went ahead and put some blue Loctite. Those bolts in the crank go right through into the crankcase of the engine, so that blue Loctite is gonna help hold these bolts in. It'll also help to seal those so we don't have any oil leaks. These bolts are going to get torqued down to 90 foot-pounds. Cat does also make a special tool for installing this one as well. We got our new seal in, so we're going to go ahead and pull this protector out. We went ahead and we cleaned up the surface there where that seal ride with some Scotch-Brite. Now this sucker can slide right on there. Boom. We're going to go ahead and get our retainer donut washer. Now these get torqued to 150 foot-pounds. Let's see if I can get it without pinning the engine. Doubt that though. 150 is a lot of foot-pounds. So in the video where I set the valves on this thing last time, I told you to pin the engine. For those of you that are visual learners, this might make it a little easier for you because you can see things now, but this here is your pinhole. It's just below this giant plug. There's one on each side of the engine. So you take the plug out, stick your screwdriver. There you go, the engine is pinned. A number 2 Phillips head seems to fit in there pretty decently. So that means 1 or 6 is the top dead center, which isn't important to us right now. We just need to have something to hold the engine from spinning, which that will do. So we were working on these cam followers, which is pretty involved, just to change out 3 little gaskets. This is a common problem on these, they constantly leak. But in order to get to them, you got to remove your air compressor, your power steering pump, your Huey pump, your ECU, basically strip down this entire side of the engine. And then you got to pull rocker assembly out, push rods out, and then you can pull the cam follower covers off.
Everyone's got their way of getting by. My life's been like a roller coaster ride. If I put my drugs out on the table, I'd rather have a kiss that tastes a lot like maple. It might be time for me to sober up, but I just don't think that'll be enough. This high is good, but you are good and not doing so fine without your sugar when I'm with you.
So these are your cam followers. Kind of goofy setup, but I guess it works for them. I like to use one of these bristly discs to clean up the surface, make sure all the dirt. Everything's cleaned off. Don't get too aggressive. These will take material off, but you know, just be easy. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this side as well. See, I got a rag shoved in there. That way we don't get too much crap in the engine. Alright, these are the new gaskets. It's 4Y9652. And because these are a very common issue, I was told to take a little bit of this blue gasket maker and just spread a thin coating onto the new gasket. Perfect. These have a tab on them with a part number, so I've been putting that out. So we'll just stick that on the dowels. For your bolts, there's two different sizes. You got shorties, and then you got some long ones. Your long ones are going to go up top. And these just slide in. And then these get torqued down to 20 foot-pounds. I'm going to start in the middle here. And that's all there is to it. So we're going to get this last one on. And we'll drop our push rods, rocker assembly, set the valves.
These walls are wide, not the prettiest view, and now I realize my drug of choice is you. My drug of choice is you. Yeah, I ain't no Satan, that's for sure. I've made some mistakes, but this love is pure. And when I get out of this spin dry, I'm kinda hoping that I'll be your guy. This high is good, but you are good, and I'm doing so fine without your sugar. When I'm with you, there ain't no blue one thing.
Alright, so the 18mm heads, they get torqued down to 65 foot-pounds. You're going to want to start in the middle and work your way out. It's kind of a pain because you got to watch everything. Make sure all your push rods are still sitting where they're supposed to sit. Make sure that your intake bridges haven't fallen off. And then on the back here, there's these two smaller bolts, and those are going to get torqued to 20 foot-pounds.
This high is good, but you are good, and I'm doing so fine without your sugar. When I'm with you, there ain't no blue. One thing for sure is my love is true. These walls are wide, not the prettiest view, and now I realize my drug of choice is you. My drug of choice is you. I saw this old ride listed for sale, 10 years old, and it looked like hell. All my friends said don't, I replied, oh Lord. It's an F350 long bed Ford. It stores my tools, can haul a load, but it drinks up gas, and now I'm broke. I jacked it up, put on lifted off-road tires with B-locks on. Dude, it's got a little attitude, ain't it grand? It does the mud, well as the sand, it defines me who I am. It's more than practical, it's a statement. If you ever think I'll sell it, good luck. American made, and it's my truck.
Alright, so we got all our pieces all cleaned up, ready to go back together. So this is your actual oil cooler itself. The backside sits in your coolant. The oil flows through it. I'm gonna go ahead and stab it back in there. It's kind of hard to get a good angle here because there's not a lot of room.
The sand, it defines me who I am. It's more than practical, it's a statement if you ever think I'll send it good luck. American made, and it's my truck. It soars my tools can haul a load, but it drinks up gas and now I'm broke. Well, I jacked it up, put on a lift kit, off-road tires with B-locks on. Dude, it's got a little attitude, ain't it grand? It does the mud as well as the sand. It defines me who
Things went pretty smoothly with the new seals, so I'm definitely glad that that's done. We're gonna have a leak-free engine, hopefully. I'm sure it'll still leak somewhere. Tell you what, those cam followers, they could have made that job just a little bit easier. But everything's back together. The next video, we're going to pull the engine out of the frame, finish welding some things, finish modifying the cross member, and we're going to work on getting the engine cleaned up and painted, get the frame painted where it needs to be. And a quick side note, I know a lot of you guys are newer to the channel, and you may not know this, but got my wife pregnant again. And she's due next week, so by the time you're seeing this video, we're going to be a lot busier. I'm letting you guys know this just because I do plan on taking off a couple weeks just to spend with the family, help settle in, you know. It's definitely going to be a fun adventure because we're going to have a 15-month-old and a newborn, so pray for us. Our biggest concern is that my daughter's going to pluck out his eyes because she seems to have a fascination with eyeballs. But anyways, videos might slow down a little bit for the next couple of weeks. As always, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down button. Make sure you head on down and drop us a comment in the comment section. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on that little bell.